Hello, time for another slightly redneck video. This is late August 23rd I think, and I'm going to be planting some things for a fall garden, put some low tunnels over them, which I'll do some videos on later, but right now I just want to talk about how to build a cheap garden bed. You know, when I look online about building garden beds, man, there's all kinds of scientific information on there, and you know, how much compost you need to have, how much everything you need to have, all that stuff works. There's no reason you shouldn't do that. But I want to show you a cheap, easy way. If I'm looking to plant something immediately, like today, and I need to get this garden bed prepared, I'm going to show you kind of what I do, and it works. So, you know, feel free to use it. If you were going to go all winter long and wait to plant into it till next spring, I would suggest sheet mulching it. That's not entirely what I'm doing today, but anyway, this will give you an idea of building a bed that you can plant into immediately. So, let's get to it. We'll get started. Okay, I want to start off by showing you a garden bed that I made yesterday. This has got some Brussels sprouts planted into it. And there's my hoop house that I'm going to build over it. These PVC pipes here bent over. They're hooked onto rebar. You can probably look at that and kind of figure out what I'm going to do. Just drape some plastic over it and secure it. But I'll go through a walkthrough on how I build that because I need to build one for this next bed. This is the bed I'm going to be building today. And it's really rebuilding the bed. There's a few weeds growing in it. Not much, so it's not too bad. I'm not going to have to do too much to the ground. If you're trying to garden a section like here with the grass, what you're going to want to do is the same thing I'm doing basically, but mow that grass down real short first, and then you can come back over it and build the bed out of it. And this is a super easy way to build the bed. You know, if you've got compost, then by all means throw it in. I don't have any compost, but you don't have to have it. My whole point to this video is you can build a garden bed. You may not grow prize-winning, you know, tomatoes your first try, but you'll grow tomatoes that you can eat and that you can and that you can feed your family, and that's really what it's all about. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and I'll show you kind of what I do and the process that I go through. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cardboard, and talk about cheap. I get this from Taco Bell. My sister's the manager there, but go to any fast food restaurant. They go through a lot of boxes, and they usually have a recycle bin out back. If you just go in and ask them, can I get some boxes out of your recycle bin, they're going to say yes, and they're perfectly all right with it. Get you some cardboard. Make sure it's not gloss cardboard. Make sure it's just regular old cardboard. I peel the tape off. You know, there's tape on the edges, and there's a couple of labels. I peel all that off before I start. What I'm going to do is just break this box down and open it up so it's flat. Oh, and I will say while I'm doing this, if you can find an appliance company that's got some cardboard they want to get rid of, those are great. They have great big boxes. They'll cover almost the whole garden bed with just one box. You don't have to do several. What I'm going to do, though, is lay this cardboard out flat on the ground, and I'm going to cover it, overlap it with the other cardboard, a couple inches. I'll scoot this mulch back, lay this cardboard over it, and throw some mulch back on top of it. And I'll come back in and mulch all this out whenever I'm done. Then, I'm going to get me another box. The end. Lay it out and overlap it onto the other box. You want a pretty good overlap. Wouldn't hurt to go back through and put 2 layers of cardboard down. Basically, that's what I'm going to do for this whole garden bed. I'm just going to lay cardboard out. I'm going to overlap it to where there's no gaps. I'm going to go all the way over. Probably almost to those tomato plants over there, which you probably can't see right now, but I'm going to go well over the edges of the bed. I don't need to worry too much about any of this stuff. It's just small little grass clippings and stuff. I'll just mulch right over the top of them, and they'll die and they'll go into the ground. So this is the first thing you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and then I'll come back and I'll take you through the next step. Alright, so I got all my cardboard laid out, and I don't know how much of it you can see, but it's all covered. There's no gaps anywhere. I overlap it pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is plant my plants out. And what I do is I just take a knife. I'm using my pocket knife. It's pretty sharp. And measure out where you want your plants. I already kind of know where I want these. These are cabbage. They need to go, 18 inches apart, 36 inch on the row length. So I'm going to crowd them a little bit, but not too much. So what I'm going to do is find where I want this planted, which is right about, make sure I'm good, right about here. So then I'm going to dig or cut through the cardboard, make an X. Make sure you get through all the cardboard. And I'm just going to peel these pieces back to get to the ground underneath. Maybe I need to sharpen my knife a little more. And then simply dig a hole, pull out these little grass clippings right there. If you got some compost ready or something, this would be a good place to use some of that compost. Just put it in this hole with this plant that we're going to put in. Get the plant here real quick. Alright. Fill the hole back in. Like I said, if you've got compost, throw some compost in there with this dirt that you're filling back in. Won't hurt your plant at all, and it'll help it out tremendously. I don't have any compost ready to go right now, so I've got some other things I'm going to use, but no big deal. Hold your box back down around it. Make sure it doesn't crush the plant when you do it. That one's going too. So I'll tear a little place out for the plant to go. And that's pretty much it. Next thing I'm going to do is just mulch this. I'll grab a handful of this mulch and put it around there now. And once I get all these planted, I'll go back through and I'll mulch the whole area so that it's heavily mulched, all the cardboard's covered. I'm going to be using wood chips. I got those for free from the city. The city did a wood chip giveaway. If you don't have wood chips, buy a bale of straw. A bale of straw should be able to mulch this whole area right here. $5 for a bale of straw. So again, we're staying cheap or free, or for that matter, mow your yard and collect the grass clippings and use it for mulch. It'll work just great. There's no reason to use anything else. If you're doing grass clippings, you want to pile it on pretty thick. But anything else, you just need to basically cover the cardboard. I'm going to put it on a little bit thicker than I need to probably because I want good water retention. Normally what you're going to want to do with this is wet this down really good, which would be a good stage once you get your plants in. Go through and spray the whole thing down and wet it down and just get the cardboard soaked. I'm not going to worry about that. We had like 3 inches of rain over the last 2 days. The ground is soaking wet underneath. The wood chips I'm putting on are all piled up over here, so they've got plenty of water in them. So I'm not going to worry about watering this thing down. I'll give it a final drink of water, go by each plant once I've got them in the ground just to get them past transplant shock. But that's pretty much it. I'll come back once I got all these planted. I'll show you the next step. Well, I got my plants all planted, just peeking up above the cardboard there. So what I'm going to do next, and this is an optional step, but you know, I've got rabbits. You might be able to see them there in the background there. But so what I did is I cleaned out their cages and I took the rabbit manure and I'm going to spread that over this cardboard. Now, if you're using something like chicken manure, you don't want to do that. You want to compost it first. It's too hot to put directly on the garden. Rabbit manure, goat manure, those two are both fine. Just put them directly on. If you've got old straw, like out of a goat barn, that'd be perfect. You don't even need to do this step. Just use that old straw and mulch with it, and it'd be perfect. If you have compost, instead of rabbit manure, this is a good time to lay down your compost. Just lay a thin layer over the top of this cardboard and then mulch on top of it. And I don't have either one of those things right now, or any of those things. All I have is some rabbit manure. So I'm just going to spread it on the cardboard, kind of focusing at the top. I'm not going to worry about getting it all around the plants. It'll, you know, when it gets wet, it'll drip down through there, so it'll be fine. So anyway, this is not a glorious job, so I think I'm going to get it done, and then I'll come back to you and show you when I spread the mulch on top. Well, got my manure spread out, and again, if you don't have manure or compost or anything else, don't worry about it. It's an optional step. If you've got it, by all means add it. If you don't, just move on to this step right here, and that would be just mulching directly on the cardboard. I'm using wood chips. You can use straw. Straw works great. You can use grass clippings, whatever you want. I just happen to get free wood chips from the city, so anyway, mulch up close to your plants. If you're planting from seed, of course, you don't want to put mulch around them until they get up fairly good size. But basically all I'm going to do is cover this cardboard with mulch, and then I'll come back and have some final thoughts for you. So. Okay, I got my mulch all laid down here, and I'm pretty much finished with this. Now, this stuff, like I said, this mulch is really wet, so I didn't bother wetting the cardboard down, but it's not a bad idea to go back through here and give these plants a good drink. But basically what I did is I just laid mulch all over the entire cardboard, tucked it up close to these plants here, and they will grow. And again, if you don't have manure or compost or any of those kinds of things, don't worry about it, just do it. You'll find out what works. And the good thing about this is that, I put this on here, it'll probably do pretty decent through the winter. In the spring it'll do okay, but by next fall it's going to be rocking. All that cardboard's going to be decomposed. It's going to add to the soil. You got all that organic matter in the soil that's rotten, all the grass that we laid the cardboard over, and it's going to add a lot to it. And you won't have to worry about punching through cardboard anymore. You can just plant right into it. You want to get down past the mulch, of course, but other than that, it'll be just rich black dirt right underneath, and that'll take care of a lot of your gardening problems. So anyway, hopefully that helps. I do want to show you, I'll follow this out and see how they grow throughout the winter and give you an update on it. And then I want to show you one other thing, some results from a garden bed I put in. Well, an herb bed actually, just like this pretty much, just cardboard and straw. I didn't have any manure or compost or anything on it, but did it the exact same way, and it's been growing all summer long. Good benefits about this is that it conserves water. It does a great job of conserving water. Also, like I said, cheap. I got the cardboard for free from a local restaurant. You can get cardboard for free. Just go to Taco Bell, McDonald's, any of those places, and ask them if you can dig through their recycle bin for some cardboard, and they will probably say yes. And I didn't even have to dive inside. I mean, it's all stacked right up there on the top. It's easy to pull out. I got the mulch for free. If you did have to buy mulch, I would suggest buying straw. It's about the cheapest mulch I've been able to find. And then just put it on pretty thick, yay thick, and you can mulch with that, and that works just fine. That'll cost you about $5 for a bale of straw. So, total what I'm looking at, my investment in this garden bed right here is about $6 in plants, and that's the great thing about buying fall plants. I got 12 cabbage plants growing through here for $6. This middle section of this bed I'm going to leave open, and what I'm going to do is put garlic. I'm going to plant garlic all down this section, the middle of this bed, and it won't get up and going until next spring, and this cabbage will be gone by that point, and I'll have plenty of garlic I can harvest. So anyway, $6 investment for a garden bed, and if you did have to buy straw, you're looking at a $11, $10 investment, somewhere around in there. And let's say that you went all out and you bought straw and you bought some compost to put around the plants. A bag of compost costs you probably $5 or $6 at least. So let's say $7 or $8 is what it costs you. You're looking at less than $20 for a garden bed, and a garden bed that's going to produce food. So it's a great deal in my book. So let me take a break here for a second. I'll take you up front and I'll show you the herb bed that I put in, so you'll get an idea of how this stuff actually works and how well it grows. Just wanted to close this video out with showing you an herb bed I put together in, oh good grief, it was probably July. I mean, it was full on into summer when I put this in. And I did it the same way. Laid down cardboard over the top of the existing mulch, or grass, and then I mulched it with straw. I cut holes in it. I planted these plants, like there's rosemary, there's basil, there's thyme right over there, and over there is oregano. And they were tiny little plants when I put them in, just barely sticking out over the top. Now I did go a little extra step, and I put some strips of compost down over the top of that straw on these, and I may go back and do some of that when I get some compost on the other beds, but you can just see I just put strips of it right where the plant was growing, give it something to kind of grow into from the top, and you can see that on the oregano there. And it's done well, and here's the thing, is I haven't watered this one time. I watered it when I first put it in. Other than that, I have not watered it. I've just neglected it and let it go and see what would grow. It's right here next to my downspout, so when it rains it pumps all that water into here. But other than that, these things haven't gotten any supplemental water, and everything except for the thyme is doing pretty good. So I just tell people I spend my, when I'm working in the garden, all I'm doing is killing time. So I know, bad joke. But anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You learned something. And, if you have questions, you have comments, leave them. I always look forward to hearing from you. And as always, God bless.